Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Jessica. I am an indie author and I have 2 books published in my young adult romantic sci-fi series, and I'm working on the final installment and going through the publication process of getting that 3rd book published, and I am bringing you along for the ride. Which brings us to today's video, where I kind of want to talk about a new process that I'm going to be going through in one of these very final stages before it actually goes to publication, which is copy editing. I'm going to be trying out a little bit of a different method this time than I've done before, and I want to kind of take you along with me and document that process so we can figure out if it's even something that I want to continue doing, which I kind of think it is. Usually I finish all my copy edits inside of Microsoft Word using track changes and comments inside of there. Now, I do hire a professional editor to go through and do a full round of line and copy edits and some light developmental editing. But anyone who is familiar with the industry knows that you need to do more than one copy editing pass, because even professionals will not catch everything. So it's a great idea to have more than one copy editing pass, even when you think the manuscript is sealed and tight and like perfect and ready for publication. You always need to do one more. And in the past, I have done the very final copy editing pass still inside of Microsoft Word, which is the industry standard to use when you're going through and making changes, because track changes is really nice when you're collaborating with other people. But this time I will be switching things up a little bit. So instead of saying fully inside of Microsoft Word for everything, I will actually be pulling the manuscript over and formatting it within InDesign, which is the Adobe program that I use to fully format my book for print. And I'm going to essentially fully do the full print formatting before I even go about the final round of copy editing. So once I have the full manuscript ready to go and it is fully, designed for the way that it will be printed, I'm going to export that into a PDF, and I'm going to send that PDF over to my Remarkable tablet, and I will be doing the full copy edits on the Remarkable tablet. And I'm kind of excited for this new approach to it, because this is honestly more closely aligned with what the traditional publishing industry does with something called pass pages, which is where the full manuscript has been fully typeset and fully ready for print, and you get these essentially the entire book printed on 8.5 by 11 paper, so that the author and the editor and the agents or whatever can go through it and fully look at how it is going to be printed in its final form. However, my book is 140,000 words and fully formatted. That is, over 300 pages. So if I fully print that out, that actually costs a lot of money. And as an indie author, I want to make sure that I'm keeping costs as low as possible and being as efficient as possible. And that is the entire reason that I bought the Remarkable tablet in the first place, which is essentially just a tablet where you can fully edit PDFs or any type of document with like a stylus and export it onto your computer and work with any type of physical edits. It's like a hybrid analog digital situation, which I'm really excited to get into using. And I'm also excited that this new process that I'm coming up with is going to more closely mimic the format and structure for editing at a traditional publishing house, because I am always interested and aware of what they're doing in the trad publishing space, because those are people that make their entire careers out of perfecting books and perfecting the way the books are published. So anything that I can take from that and optimize and make it my own is something that I'm really interested in. And the whole stage of pass pages and the idea of pass pages is that you can catch any type of lingering issues that you maybe wouldn't normally see if the manuscript is still in the Microsoft Word format, because I will be able to actually see the book as it will be printed, and I will be able to look at each page as it will be in the final book. So not only will I be looking for, copy edits like small typos, names being misspelled, extra letters or spaces or periods or whatever in there, I will also be able to more precisely think about the layout and the formatting issues. For instance, if there's like a weird paragraph break, or maybe if like a chapter ends with one line on one page, that always annoys me, and I can go in and fix those things individually and make those notes so that I don't have to do that inside of the InDesign program. I will be able to do it essentially with a little stylus and be able to write those comments up the exact same as you would with a printed out past pages. So here is my general plan. I have the fully edited manuscript in Microsoft Word right now. I'm gonna export that over into InDesign, format all of the pages, get them all set up, format the chapter headings, get the full book essentially ready for print. Then I will export that into a PDF, import that onto my Remarkable, and I will go through over the next week and essentially just do a markup. And I have the ability to do like a red pen markup inside the Remarkable, which will be really cool because then once I bring it back onto the computer and start implementing those changes, I will have a full PDF with essentially just basic markups. Then I will go back into InDesign and I will have the marked up PDF on the side, and I will begin making any types of additional copy editing changes or formatting changes as I saw on the Remarkable that I decided needed updating. Ultimately, I have no idea whether or not this will be efficient or whether or not I will enjoy this process more than how I have done it in the past, but that's the entire point of this video. I'm going to take you along with the process and do some updates throughout the week as I am in the middle of this, and we will figure it out together. My assumption is that I'm really gonna like this approach. Not only is this the entire reason that I bought that Remarkable in the first place, I kind of had this in mind that it would be excellent for copy edits, but it's also gonna allow me to catch any other lingering issues, and I'm not gonna have to do that while staring at my computer and kind of going through page by page within InDesign. So I'm really excited to dive into this process. And I know one of the top tips for catching lingering copy edit issues is by looking at your work in a different format. And this will definitely be that. So I won't be looking at it in any way that I have read the book or ingested my art so far. So if you are just here because you're curious about how indie authors go about editing their work, or you want to watch me figure this out, or you want to take away some things, come along for the ride because it's gonna be interesting. I'll be sharing updates with you throughout the week, and at the end we will figure out if this was all worth it. Wish me luck. All right, so I just sat down to get fully started. First thing on the agenda today is that I need to work on fully formatting the book for print, which means I need to open InDesign. I need to pull over the manuscript from Word, import that all into InDesign as well. I think I'm gonna fix the cover graphics because usually the front matter of a book will have like a version of the cover without all of the illustration behind it. It's just like the text. So I'm going to format that, get that all down, because what I'm looking to do on this editing pass is not only do copy edits, but also kind of look over everything graphic and make sure that it is all aligned and it is essentially like how I want it to look. So I'm going to dive straight into that. I'm not going to worry about ISBNs, or I might actually go ahead and put in my dedications and my acknowledgements and things like that. I think I am going to do that because I do want this to be like a fully functioning, like past pages run. So I'm going to go ahead and hop into that, and I will update you later today once I hopefully get this fully set, export it to PDF, and send it over to my Remarkable. So stay tuned.
I believe I must say, tell me you love me, then love me through hate. When it comes to your heart, I won't fight for my place, 'cause I know that I'm on my own either way. I know, I know, I know I'm on my own. I'm on my own.
Okay, a little bit of an update. I finished getting all the pages into InDesign and fully formatted, but we are sitting at like 459 pages, which is, I expected that because this book is longer than the first two, but now I'm running into this issue where I need to consider the pricing for actually printing the book. Like, how much will it cost to print that many more pages, and does that affect how I want to price the book? So now it's a little frustrating because I feel like I have to pause on what I want to focus on, which is actually getting to the copy edits. And, this is slowing me down a little, which is a little bit frustrating. Anyways, so I'm going to hop I use Ingram Spark for publishing. So I'm going to hop in there and, plug in all my information and figure out, it has a price estimator tool for like how much it costs to print one copy, so that I can better understand and decide if I want to keep it at this page length. The only way to reduce the page length at this point would be to, minimize the text or work with spacing or in margins or things like that, which I don't really want to touch because I really think that I did a good job on that for the first two and I want to keep that consistent. So fingers crossed, the printing cost will not be that much extra and I can just keep going with it. Okay, so I finally got it working. I got my format fully set up and my Remarkable in hand, which is a really cool tablet that is kind of like a Kindle. It's that ink thing. I don't know what it's called. I'll look it up. Anyways, but I can load my PDF onto here and actually make edits directly with a stylus, and I can set it to like red ink. So when I import it onto my computer, it will show the fully formatted for print version, but like with the red markups of my copy edits. So I'm really excited to get started, and yeah, I'm gonna hop into it. I don't feel a damn thing. I'm just feeling for the moonlight to kiss me, keep me up on, just do anything to make me feel alive, so I don't want for me. Okay, so we are back at it this morning. I have on my goal today to reformat the print because I forgot to pull in the text with the formatting from the Word document. I could link the Word document in InDesign so that I could make edits in Word and it would update in InDesign, but I don't really love that because it is harder on the computer. Anyways, I digress. I'm gonna redo all that. I did a lot of the other heavy lifting when I first set up the document, so I think it shouldn't take me too long. And then I will hop back into the actual copy editing. Thankfully, I got a couple chapters done yesterday, so I'm going to go ahead and make those changes with my Remarkable. So I will go ahead and make those copy edits, update the document, get it pulled back in, and we'll go from there. This time it's going to work. All right, so it's time for a little mid-edit update. It's going pretty well. I had a little bit of a snafu where I had imported my manuscript into InDesign, and then I formatted the text and overrode all of the customization on the fonts, like italics and stuff, which is a rookie mistake. I just haven't edited a book in a couple months, so I haven't worked in InDesign in a couple months. But I figured it out, we re-exported, and we were good to go from there. And it's been pretty smooth sailing from that point. And the system that I have set up is working really well. I'm absolutely loving the Remarkable because it allows me to write directly on the text. The pages are fully formatted, they look great. I also realized that I would be able to actually use the highlighter in the Remarkable and highlight certain sections that I want to use later for promos, which was something that I was keen on doing on this copy editing pass, because I need, certain sections that I feel like would be good to use in reels or TikToks or snippets or whatever. So as I come across quotes that I really like or entire passages, I can just pull out the little highlighter function and fully highlight that entire passage, and I'll be able to pull those out later very easily and all at once. So I'm really excited about that. And I swear this is not an ad for Remarkable. I just really like the tablet. It has been super functional for me and has really revolutionized the way that I go about editing my books from start to finish. I think I'm going to make a whole video just specifically on the Remarkable tablet, because I really think anyone could benefit from using this in like a variety of different ways. And I really want to showcase all the features and the features that I have learned and what I'm using specifically with the Remarkable, because it's a really cool device. All right, so my goal originally was to get through at least 100 pages a day so that I could really be efficient with the editing. I've been going a little bit slower than that. Some days I have 100, like yesterday I only got like 80, I think. It just has been taking me a lot longer than I originally thought, because obviously my reading speed is much quicker compared to like my editing speed, because I'm really trying to catch any type of copy editing issues. And then I have had more line edits than I thought I would. There are some chapters where I have none, and then some where I just feel like it still reads a little bit clunky. So I'm just making those changes as I come across them. And I think some of that is just the nature of art, like the video I created before about how you're always going to find things to update. You're always going to be able to make a change to a sentence to make it sound better. And that's been a bit of a challenge for me, because I've had to like rein myself in and let the sentence structures as they are exist and prevent myself from making further changes. That being said, there are some chapters where I'm gonna like edit a little more, and there's a lot of stuff that I'm just like scratching out entirely. So this pass has been really good for that. One of the caveats to finally finishing this trilogy is that I really just want to get it out into the world. And I think a part of that is maybe that I'm rushing a little bit. I have deadlines that I want to meet. I've already announced the release date. I just feel like I really need to keep on my schedule and get those 100 pages a day so that I can fully finish that this week and get that off my plate, get it fully formatted for print, and get the pre-orders up and set, because I really only have 2 weeks to do that, and I'm really in crunch mode. Which begs the question, why did I decide to make a video about this process when I'm in such a hurry? Because even filming this update video right now is stressing me out because I really need to be editing. At the same time, I think it's kind of good for me because I've been able to pause for a second here and actually reflect and take stock of what I've done so far and what needs to still be done. And that is also part of my goals this year, right? It's to slow down and to check in and make sure that my energy feels good. So that's what I'm doing. And ultimately, it'll be fine. I work pretty well under pressure. I feel like this is what has happened to me with both of my previous books that I published. I get to the end and I'm just ready to go, and I'm like running towards the finish line and just really excited to have the final product in my hands, which will be coming soon. Anyways, that's probably it for this update. I'm gonna go and do a couple more pages of edits, and then tonight is writing group. So I will be heading out to work a little bit early, and hopefully I will get some good pages edited tonight during that session. And we're just gonna keep moving forward. I will check in later. Wish me luck. Okay, so new update. I'm actually finished with all of the copy edits, the written copy edits that I was doing on the Remarkable, which honestly took me more time than I thought it was going to. I was actually supposed to be fully done with this video and the whole process like yesterday and have it published, which clearly did not happen. I'm still recording updates, but you know what? Sometimes that happens, and I just have to be okay with the fact that it's taking me a little longer. And hopefully I will remember that for next time, how long this process actually does take. And I will bake in more time for myself to get through this section of edits, this final pass on the copy edits. Because it does require a much slower read than I was expecting, I think, because I am trying to catch any kind of tiny, lingering grammar issues. And that takes time. But now that the markup is done, it is time to go in and actually start making the finalized changes to the formatted text within InDesign. And I don't want to spend too much chatting. I just wanted to check in and update. And yeah, now I'm gonna go ahead and focus on that for the rest of the day. And I'm gonna go meet up with some writing group friends and really lock in. And hopefully I will be fully done with this final copy editing pass, and it will be ready for print in 2 days is what I'm expecting. I'm really hoping that this phase goes so much faster because, you know, some pages I have a couple edits and some pages I have nothing. You know, ultimately I couldn't prevent myself from doing a little bit of line editing. Like I've discussed before, sometimes it's just impossible to turn off that part of my brain. I tried to limit that as much as I could, but it happened, and ultimately it's just gonna make the book better. So enough chatting, I'm gonna hop in. All right, so this was supposed to be 1 week of filming where I tried this new approach, and it's been like more closer to 10 to 14 days, so almost 2 weeks, which is why I'm just putting out this video now, because it just took me longer than I thought it was going to be. And honestly, that is probably good, because I came into this thinking that it was going to take a certain amount of time, and it has taken me longer, and I thought I could kind of just push through that. But if I had fully marathoned my way through, it would have gone kind of completely against what my method for approaching my writing this year is trying to be. I'm trying to be more intuitive about my energy and balancing things out. And so once I started in on this editing process, and it was taking a lot of my energy and a lot of my time, I pulled back a little and balanced. So, you know, ultimately it took me longer than I thought, but that's okay. That's part of this process, and that's part of why I even wanted to document it, so that I could get more familiar with how to go about this phase. That being said, I am totally finished. This book is fully edited. It is ready to go and ready to be published, and it's fully formatted, and that's absolutely wild to say. I cannot believe I am sitting here in this moment, because, you know, 6 months ago, I was just trying to finish the draft of this book entirely, and here we are, like gearing up for publication in 2 months, which is absolutely bizarre and wild and so amazing to finally be at this stage. I really enjoy the process of, you know, crafting the book once it is done being written and once it is done being fully formatted and everything. I really enjoy this process of getting it ready for print, so I'm excited for these next steps that are coming up in the process. And it's been such an incredible ride to get here. I kind of still can't believe it. That being said, I made this video in the first place to discuss this process, this new approach to the editing phase. So let's talk about it. I have some thoughts after finishing. Overall, I really loved being able to see the book in its final form, like fully formatted, and be able to make notes and check through each page of it as it will be printed. That was such a cool, like, different way to go about it. I've never done a type of past pages before, because again, it is really expensive to print it if I was going to print it on pages. And in the past, things like the Barnes & Noble like print on demand thing did not exist. So I couldn't just like order my book for 15 bucks and go through it that way. I would have had to fully print it out myself, like either at the library or Office Depot or something like that. So overall, using the Remarkable tablet for copy edit markup was amazing, because not only is it kind of like a hybrid version, I get to use a pen and actually mark it up myself with my own like scribbles and stuff, but I can select, you know, red ink, and it's fully digitized. So then it immediately syncs with my computer, and I have the full page layout right in front of me, and I can see the entire manuscript at a glance and see any edits, and I can even export those edits as well if I needed a more concise view of them. I also, on this pass, was trying to be cognizant of marking any passages that I wanted to use for promotions. So it also had a highlight tool, and that was so nice, because now I have like an entire portfolio of scenes and paragraphs and lines and things that I can use as I go about into this next phase of marketing. And that was really cool to be able to consolidate all that at once. There were a couple of challenges. You know, this approach did add a whole nother step. Not only did I have to read the manuscript and mark it up, I had to go through and actually make the changes, which is an additional step from what I'm used to. Normally, I just go through and do the copy edits directly in Microsoft Word, and I would be making the changes as I read them. So that part is entirely different. And it did add a little extra time, but honestly, I kind of liked that, because it did give me the opportunity to do yet another pass. The other thing I ran into is when I started making the edits within InDesign, I was going front to back on the book, as one does. And I realized very quickly that there were a lot of, you know, like entire lines that I was cutting, and entire paragraphs maybe that I was just scrapping. And once I did that, it shifted the formatting of the book, you know, the entire book, because if I take out a paragraph, it's going to shift all the pages up, right? So then any marks that I had made in the PDF version would be shifted and they'd be really hard to find. So once I realized that, thank God I realized it at like the very beginning, I actually did all the edits from back to front, which is wild. It was really cool though, because I think it allowed me to look at the manuscript from yet another perspective, and it allowed me to come at the work from a totally different angle. And because I did from back to front, when I removed things, it wouldn't shift the formatting, right? I started from the end. So after I did this final pass and I fully finished all of my edits and got everything reformatted, I ultimately ended up chopping like 25 pages worth, which is kind of insane. I didn't expect that to happen. You know, not all of that is entire pages. I think, you know, at the end of chapters, you would have maybe a couple paragraphs on a different page, but ultimately it shifted the book from 460 pages to like 435 or something like that. And that's really cool because that means the print cost went down for me. And that's something you need to be cognizant of as an indie author. You know, the price to print it is important because I need to make sure that I'm making enough of a profit on each sale that it is not putting me in the red. And cutting down the work is really the nature of it, right? I'm trying to whittle it down to its most undiluted form. And I was really excited that I found enough stuff to cut. Honestly, when you make a pass and you're finding things to take out, that's like a really good thing. And I'm really excited for what the work has become on this like 15 millionth pass that I'm doing. So the big question, would I do this again? Would I take this approach to editing again? Absolutely. I absolutely loved the approach of using the Remarkable, but I might streamline. Gatsby, you gotta sit, babe. Here, come on, lay down. This dog. Are you situated? Can you lay down, please? Thank y'all. I'm trying to record here, God. So would I do this again? Absolutely. I really enjoyed this process. I think it was such a unique way to go about it. It allowed me to look at the book from a totally new angle and new perspectives. It allowed me to instantly digitize my edit notes, and I was able to get through it really efficiently. There will be some things that I tweak in the future, but I'm absolutely gonna go forward with this approach from now on. If you're indie publishing or self-publishing and you want to simulate this approach for past pages, I highly recommend it. I mean, even if you're trad published, you could still import the book into the Remarkable as well, as long as you've got a PDF version. And it's a really easy way to transport it because it's just a little tablet that you're taking. You can take it everywhere. You can mark it up everywhere. It is, yeah, transformed the way that I go about things. Okay, so what's up next? This is really exciting because I get to start working on all the back-end stuff of publishing. I get to assign metadata. I get to, you know, figure out the pricing structure. I get to do all the back-end work that goes into the publishing process. And that is an entirely new phase, and things are getting really real around here, which is, you know, simultaneously terrifying, but also really cool. I'm finally at this process that I honestly, like, along the journey, almost didn't think was going to happen at all. But even today, I'll be getting everything ready for a full export and submission to my printer. And as soon as I get the proofs and approve them, I will be ordering my ARCs. So that is, you know, absolutely mind-blowing that I'm finally here. And I realized yesterday that now I have to go in and create the ebook versions, which will not be that extensive. I use a program called Vellum, which is kind of expensive on the front end, but it does allow you to create an ebook version very quickly. So I'll just be exporting the document from InDesign, getting a PDF, pulling that into Vellum, going through that whole process. I honestly might make a video on that because I don't think a lot of people know how easy it is to use Vellum and are on the fence of whether or not they want to use it. So I will put that in the pipeline to record that video. I don't think it'll be very long, because it's a pretty simple process from start to finish, but we'll see. If everything stays on track, I will have this puppy up and ready for pre-orders next week, which is still in alignment with my deadlines and on track with my calendar. And publication is in June, so we are moving right along. I'd love to know if you have ever edited your manuscript outside of Microsoft Word. Do you print it out entirely and write on the printed pages? Do you order a book and edit inside there? I have a couple of friends who do that. I would love to hear what people are doing and the different approaches, and if you've ever thought about trying to find a way to digitize it in the way that I've been working on this pass. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful or interesting in any way, please hit that like and subscribe button so you can stay up to date on my personal publishing process and my creative life. And let me know if there's anything else you want to see on this channel. If you're interested in more Scrivener videos or story structure videos or story analysis, maybe you want my opinion on like White Lotus or Bridgerton or Arcane or something. I don't know. I'm just gonna be experimenting with a few different ideas and taking you along on more steps in my process moving forward. We'll see what I get into next. Anyways, thanks for coming along on this editing video with me. I know it was a little discombobulated and all over the place, and I'm not certain how long it's gonna be. We will see, but I am so glad that you joined me. And until next time, I will see you around. Bye.